This is the story about me being catfished by Airbnb. Last winter, I was going to a bigger city for a work trip, but I had friends there, so I was going to stay with them for a few extra days before I got to the hotel. Turns out luck wasn't on my side, and my friend's place was being sprayed for roaches, so I decided to quickly get an Airbnb just to save a little bit of money. So I found this one that looked pretty okay. It had a lot of great reviews. We'll get back to that in a minute. I get to the apartment, immediately realized this wasn't the place I had rented. Technically it was. Little snapshots of the place were the place I rented, but much bigger chunks of the apartment had been edited out specifically because it was a total crap hole. I decided that I wanted to just have a sit on the couch. I just needed to rest. The couch was an old ass futon that was completely busted. There were springs sticking up in my butt. There was no possible way to get comfortable on that thing, and that just further fueled my rage. The furniture had chips and stains. The whole place had that vibe like when you're watching a Russian or Eastern European film and there's a criminal type that just keeps his mother in some crappy apartment way in the middle of nowhere. It was depressing and disgusting. I tentatively looked in the bathroom. The whole thing was gross, and there was just a light bulb with the most inadequate amount of light coming out of it, once again adding to that Russian, Eastern European, tragic apartment vibe. So I went into the bedroom, sat on the bed, and it was just as broken as the couch. It was really bad. There were like sink spots in it. There were springs coming up. Then I started to notice it was hot in there. I went to open the windows. There were no actual handles to open them. Just little screwed in old rusty nail with an old creepy piece of string attached to it. So, window flies open. Very difficult to get window back again. I learned several hours later when it got so cold that I needed to close them. I was feeling sad and sorry for myself, and I needed some sort of little tiny victory. So I hiked down to Save on Foods and got myself a pity meal. A lovely half ring of frozen shrimps. I got a 7-layer dip, I got some taco chips, and I went past the liquor store, so I got a bottle of wine. I just was ready for a real sad time. Once I got into the kitchen, everything was disgusting. I opened various drawers. There are no bowls. There are no baking sheets. There are about 15 pots of various sizes, so many pots, and a bunch of spatulas. The dishwasher was disgusting, the oven was disgusting, the toaster had more crumbs in it than I've ever seen in my life. And then I just sat in that bed eating half-frozen shrimp and 7-layer dip with my glasses of wine, and woke up in the middle of the night. I was too tired to even bother turning on a light, so I felt my way out to the kitchen, opened up the cupboard, and just blindly grabbed a mug, downed 2 mugs of water, and went to bed. Next morning, woke up with a bit of a headache. So I went out to get some more water. The mug I'd been drinking out of all night had just black gunk in the bottom. Caked on, dried up black gunk had been put back in that cupboard for the next unsuspecting soul to grab. And then the crying started. It must have been about 8 in the morning, and through the wall to the other side, the most awful, forlorn crying. Some poor woman, I don't know what was wrong, but she cried for an hour solid. And this happened like clockwork the next morning as well, because I stayed there for 2 nights. Something I genuinely don't understand though is, you might remember before I said there were like tons of positive reviews. There absolutely were. They were all 4 and 5-star reviews. There was only 1 bad review. It was 1 out of 5 stars. I'll read it to you right now. Overall, it was the worst place I've ever slept and stayed. Already entering the apartment building, there was a strong smell of smoke and closed. Entering the apartment, then it is fully realized that you entered a dump. It smells of closed and smoke, open baseboards from which you could see pipes and the gas and electric cables, stains on the chairs, walls with holes, and an evident state of not careful. Crumbs in the kitchen and dust on the appliances and on the ground. Old windows with nails fixed to be used as knobs. Noisy bed with every little movement of body. Dirty bathroom with unassuming towels. That we did not find them, but we lived our living room with the hard thought of having to share the apartment with peaks and cockpits. I assume there's like a translation app that's mistranslating part of this. I'm sure that meant to be cockroaches. I was definitely responsive to our request for explanations and gave us 20 euros back. But she did not have humility in admitting the obvious state of abandonment of the apartment. goodbye. So yeah, I'm not sure if you can pay people to write fake reviews for Airbnb, but something real weird was going on with this place and those reviews. And then blessedly, because you might remember from the beginning of this very long tale, I was up for work. I got to go to my hotel room at the Hilton and have the most beautiful sleep in a clean bed with clean cups and a clean bathroom. I guess the moral of the story is maybe Airbnb isn't such a great deal, and maybe if you need to stay somewhere, try to stay at the Hilton because at least they won't catfish you.